Despite despite going into a Halloween store yesterday looking for a coffee mug or looking at the coffee mugs because I wanted to see if there was a coffee mug in there I would like to possibly go back for when it would be marked down and half off on the first. But despite going into a store to look for a coffee mug, um, I was raised kind of conservatively, or at least my mother was trying to raise me conservatively. So she's never really raised me to believe in Halloween. It was something that I kind of got into when I was kind of like not being raised by my mother with like the state and stuff. I kind of got into more of a Halloween spirit, but when I was basically growing up with my mother, it was always very taboo in our house that I was always considered the Satan's holiday and stuff like that. That Halloween is basically taboo and very much the Satan's holiday and should not be celebrated or should not be spoken of, That to dress up in any of the costumes or, etc. was very much, practicing, witchcraft or Satanism. So, um it's just how my family was, growing up as a kid. I mean, I'm obviously 32, I'm 35 years old. I said 32 maybe in another video. I'm 35 years old going on 36 and um I'm well past being an adult and etc. So, I mean, I could celebrate Halloween if I want to. I just don't because really, I don't like the idea of celebrating demons and celebrating. I mean, I kind of do like the idea of witches. I mean, I kind of almost dabbled in witchcraft myself or metaphysical teachings of like what people might call like witchcraft, but um I don't necessarily like, demons, like, devil worship or Satanism or anything like that. I'm not a big fan, Um, I'll say it once and I'll say it again though. There's women out there. There's women out there that practice, that practice actual satanic rituals and things. And some of these women that you'll see, you would never guess that they were practicing satanic rituals and things, at first glance because they're pretty. One, they're pretty women. If you're a guy and you're going to say, "Oh, that's a pretty attractive woman," you would never know her. Would never know her ideologies of beliefs or etc. to understand what she's about and. I mean, that was the way for me for a couple of adult film stars, a couple cosplayers, a couple different people. I mean, I still support cosplay and stuff too. I mean, because as I got older, I wanted to do more cosplay stuff and wanted to at least be able to dress up as some of my favorite characters. Maybe not like horror movie wise too much, or maybe not like Satanism and stuff, but maybe just like my favorite anime character, my favorite movie character. I've always wanted to be able to just have an excuse to dress up as. So what perfect excuse in Halloween at this point, I don't get invited to too many parties where I have an excuse to dress up as a character and etc. The thing is, I used to be such a dorky kid that I was a dorky kid back when I was 10 that I would go everywhere, everywhere in my Darth Vader costume. I would never take my Darth Vader costume off, even in the summer. I would always want to wear my Darth Vader costume. That when my mom actually got me a Darth Vader costume because always was like I always loved Darth Vader and Star Wars, and I never wanted to take my costume off. So, I was that type of kid, always loving my costume. But as I get older too, I mean, my body changed, my whole situation changed, and I don't fit too many costumes anymore. I don't fit too many costumes. I don't fit too many things that really fit my body type and stuff. So it's very hard. I got to make everything from scratch, which costs a lot of money and etc. So just being able to kind of dress up in cosplay for myself for Halloween is kind of a chore because it kind of costs money that I don't necessarily have to be able to do. So I mean, I managed to make like about three of them that were very kind of inexpensive to do. I managed to be able to make 3 cosplays, but other than that, I don't really know what to do for cosplays. I'm learning that sometimes the simplest cosplay is the easiest cosplay. If you can do something simple and like not like overly expensive, that will fit my body type, that's usually a good thing to do, instead of paying all this money for this and that and it doesn't really fit my body type and etc. To be able to cosplay. But Halloween for my family was devil worship. It was devil worship. It was considered not right. It was considered very taboo in my mom's very conservative Christian household. So, some Christians do celebrate Halloween. Some Christians do get up there and are conservatives. I mean, maybe they're not necessarily Christian. Maybe they're just conservatives. But I know some conservatives get up there and celebrate Halloween. Some conservatives will wear costumes and will post what they post. I mean, China Anne McClain just posted stuff up for Halloween. I know that. Some of the other YouTube channel people I follow now for, conservative stuff and YouTube stuff also now kind of dress up for Halloween, or at least, wear Halloween costumes and stuff for some of their stuff. So, so it's I guess it's just a matter of an opinion. I mean, people will say the Bible's not a matter of opinion. People who are Bible thumping that hard to say, oh, the Bible says it's not a matter of opinion if you can, wear a costume or, etc., or be able to just eat something simple as candy. Some people in the past, some people are so religious to be. I think eating candy corn would just be such an issue, about this time of holiday. Like, oh, candy corn is a Halloween candy; it's the devil, So, I mean, I grew up with people like that. I grew up, in that situations like that. So I know how oppressive and conservative it can get when it comes to, wanting to be able to do something and then not being able to do it, and then sometimes being able to do it, and then realizing this may be worth it in some cases, but then again, it costs a lot of money and etc. to the point that you just can't do it because you just almost can't afford it. So, that's kind of where I'm at. It's like I want to do it, but I can't do it because I don't make enough money to be able to, put on a costume every Halloween or every. I'd never been to a Comic-Con. I had a friend that kind of was going to, Kineticons and stuff, and never been to a Comic-Con, but she invited me one year, and I didn't go because I didn't have the money to go. But she's kind of no longer doing Kineticons and conventions anymore for like cosplay and nerd stuff. So that was the door closed on my end. But yeah, Halloween has always been the devil to my family, so I don't always like celebrating Halloween, especially when it glorifies demons and monstrous people that are you really wouldn't want around you in real life. We celebrate these characters and things in movies about people we would not really want around us in real life that are like serial killers and stuff, and it's just not something I glorify or I'm a big part of either. Despite maybe wanting to dress up as a cosplay character or somebody that I would admire in that regard. But I mean, Halloween was such a very taboo thing that it's just not something that happened to this is not something that really happens too much with my it hasn't happened with my household too much. I mean, I've had a couple of parties in my mental health program when I was in the younger programs, but when I'm older, it's like you got to find your own parties, you got to find your own things, your own group of things to be able to do to kind of connect to stuff. And I haven't really been able to really find anything to really do on Halloween. Sometimes in the past there were some local businesses open just handing out cupcakes and things, but I mean, there really isn't too much going on for Halloween, and nobody's really open up for Halloween or doing too much. So that was just the end of that, And then my family's upbringing and stuff, I guess, kind of plays a part in my situation. Although it doesn't necessarily have to. It kind of still plays a part in my situation because I am still very conservative, and I don't really like demons or, I want to say I don't like witches. Witches, there could, I truly believe there can be good witches out there. There could be good witches, or there could be good people that are, witches are people that follow the light and follow, practices that are not necessarily based off of a Satanism or a dark entity. But there are, because of, society and the taboos and the different and the stereotypes and the different things that are out there, that witchcraft seems to still get a very bad rap, because a lot of people want to support Satanism and Satan and all these things that are pretty much devil worship, that are just not good for somebody who believes in Jesus or Christ or anything like that. So do I celebrate Halloween? Yes and no. I find my own little ways to celebrate Halloween. I usually try to get food and try to get a movie or something and just try to sit back and relax and stuff. But for actual Halloween, I'm not gonna have money. But the day after Halloween, I'm gonna have money. So the day after Halloween, I'm gonna have money. So I'm gonna be able to basically get my get some stuff. Then I might go to the Halloween store and get a mug half off. I haven't made up my mind. I kind of went in there yesterday and I didn't really like what they had. They had a Twilight Zone mug that was the only mug I think in there that I would actually buy from Spirit Halloween. I think all the rest of them were just about horror movies, about Chucky and stuff. And I'm not really a big horror movie. That's the other thing about me too, is I never grew up to be a big horror movie buff. I don't know if people want to call me a scaredy cat or what they want to call me, but I'm not a big horror movie buff. I mean, I've seen a couple. I've seen Leprechaun. I've seen Jeepers Creepers. I've seen Saw. I've seen parts of Saw. I've seen the Leprechaun. I've seen the Puppet Master. I've seen some of these actual, shows. I don't care for them. I don't really care for the horror movies as much as, obviously Tim Burton. Tim Burton's pretty cool. I think Tim Burton's kind of cool. I do like things like Beetlejuice and stuff, and the Addams Family. But I don't really care for hardcore, we're gonna chop you up in guts and type of stuff that that you see on TV or in the movies and stuff. I'm not a big fan, so I don't really support stuff like that. Other people do. It's their prerogative, but I don't know if it's the way I kind of grew up, or the kind of just my preference, in the fact that I just don't like horror and I don't like to look at that type of stuff and put that kind of stuff in the images in my brain and my system. It's like adult entertainment. I started watching adult entertainment. Now there's been images in my brain that have just been basically plastered in my brain that since watching adult entertainment, sometimes you just can't really always turn off. So kind of the same thing. It'll be kind of like the same thing with horror movies. It's like you want to think about the person getting chopped up at the farm or something, during a horror movie and stuff. I can't do it, So people say guard your heart and guard your mind, guard your spirit. So that's what I try to do. I do like Halloween in the sense you can dress up. The fact that you can have candy, but with everything, there's a dark side to Halloween, and I'm sure there's a light side to Halloween. But my family and I would just not. My family and I growing up, we're not supporters of Halloween. But as I get older, it varies. It varies on me depending on year to year and where I'm at and how I feel. But I'm not really supporting too much for Halloween this year. I just wanted to get a coffee mug and some candy corn and call it even, call it even for Halloween this year, because I don't really feel like, cosplaying too much, except maybe one of the two or three cosplays I have in my closet. But I don't feel like, I do have some masks and stuff. I do have masks, I do have things like that, but I don't know. Halloween's always been very taboo and stuff, and it's been something that's, kind of been spoken against, that some people don't like and some people don't care for. So, that's just my take on Halloween. So, if people want to ask me if I celebrate Halloween, that's just my answer. So, peace.